lot of people have been saying Mr. Trump is for quite some time. As Governor Kasich kind of said, it's "I told you so." Look, this is going to be a tight race, and I think people have a very serious decision that they have to make. And it starts with who is not only got the qualifications and the plans to be president, but who has the right temperament. And I think Mr. Trump has repeatedly showed throughout this campaign that he just doesn't have the temperament to be commander-in-chief, to have his finger on the button, to be able to steer this country in a positive way.
Do you think this will be the deciding factor for many of his on the fringe voters?
Well, I think that I'm going to assume that voters are going to take all of these issues seriously. I think that whether it's a stronger economy or fairer economy, America's place in the world, and this temperament issue, I think they're going to take all of that into consideration. And I think, again, the fact that so many Republican leaders, senators, governors, former senators, former members of the Bush administration have indicated that they just cannot support Mr. Trump because he's not temperamentally fit to be president of the United States. This is a very, very serious time for our country. We have the economy has improved, but it still needs to get better. Certainly a guy who has had a number of bankruptcies in his past, someone who has, by his own admission, lost nearly $1 billion in a single year from business transactions, someone who won't trust us with his tax returns, I think should raise enough questions, and certainly this last couple of days, certainly more questions for many voters.
Okay.
Right.
What do you make of the fact that no Republican in Iowa has denounced him or withdrawn their support?
You'd have to ask them. I have a lot of respect for Governor Kasich. I've got a lot of respect for Senator McCain. These are individuals, I think, who are very, very much concerned about the country, very much interested in making sure the country is well served. And I think these are individuals who have continually put country before party. And I think, frankly, that's what is expected of leaders.
What's your expectation of tonight's debate? Is it going to be policy driven, or is it going to drift off into areas that the country may not necessarily want to hear?
Well, my hope is that there is enough substantive conversation about the direction of this country so that people will see the clear contrast that exists between these two folks in terms of where the country needs to go and how we need to get there. I think we need to invest in infrastructure. I think we have to have a fairer, more equitable economy. I am deeply concerned about the notion that if you lower taxes for the wealthy and you deregulate major industries, that somehow that's going to percolate down and basically provide assistance and help for all working families. It hasn't worked before, it's not going to work now. Investing in the infrastructure, having the clean energy economy that Hillary's talked about, I think is the right prescription for America's economy. And certainly she's right when we say that, when she says that we're stronger working together. Whether it's pandemics, whether it's climate change, whether it's terrorism or cybersecurity, we are not able by ourselves to dictate solutions to these major global problems. We have got to have allies, we have got to have relationships, we have got to have friends, providing us information, providing us support, alliances, relationships. That's what's really important. So we are stronger working together. We're not going to be able to isolate ourselves from the rest of the world and solve these problems.
You mentioned inside that you'll be casting your vote or writing in your vote today with your wife. Why is it so important to get voters out even before Election Day?
Well, look, I remember the first name of this young woman, 103-year-old Iowan, Rulene, who basically cast her ballot on the very first day she could because she wasn't taking any chances. I think that is a very good attitude. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. You may find yourself with a family emergency. You may find a situation with work. You may have a situation where you've got a health problem that prevents you from casting that vote, and you wouldn't want to wake up the day after the election and think that your vote could have made a big difference. So the early voter, I think, creates the opportunity for us to avoid any catastrophe that would prevent us from casting the vote. So that early vote is important, and I want to make sure that I offer an example to my family by doing it, and I want to make sure that my grandkids understand that this vote is for them.
You're campaigning for Hillary in very rural areas of Iowa. Why is that?
Well, I'm headed I've done some events in Des Moines. I've done events all over the state. This just happens to be the schedule and such that I was just at Ames. I don't know if you consider that rural. And I'm headed to a number of venues tomorrow small towns or major cities. I'm basically going where the campaign believes the message is appropriate in terms of early voting, and where there are events that are already pre-staged and pre-planned. So I'm just basically adding my voice to the voice of a lot of our great local candidates.
Secretary Vilsak, are you contemplating another run for Iowa governorship?
You know, I'm just focused on making sure Hillary Clinton's the next president.
Have you ever seen an election cycle like this?
No. And let me just say this. I am very, very proud of public service generally. When I speak to people who work for the government, people who run for office, I express to them that I think it's noble what they do. And I think it's important for us to get back to a day, a place where we understand and appreciate the good things that government does. You know, I know that things that I've had that I've been involved in have helped to provide opportunities for people to have home ownership, that without the government they would never have been able to purchase home.